This video is all about how to fix 90% of your mix in the next 5 or so minutes. So here we go. The very first thing I want to cover is this principle of what broke my understanding of mixing and then unlocked a whole new potential to fix 90% of my mix just like that. So the first thing I want to cover is John Wooden. John Wooden was the basketball coach at UCLA in the 60s and 70s. When he was the head coach, he won the NCAA title for basketball 10 out of the 12 years that he was the head coach. How did he do this? He always started every single season the same exact way. He had everybody get into the gym, very first practice, had them sit down, and he would then teach them how to tie their shoes. And I'm not joking. You can look this up. This is real. He taught them how to tie their shoes because he knew how you did the smallest things inside of the game. You were also going to do the biggest things inside of the game. Those small little incremental changes add up to incredible, massive results at the end of the day. Again, 10 NCAA titles in 12 years. It's incredible. He was able to do this because he had an insane focus on just the fundamentals of the game. The fundamentals of how to tie your shoes were so important that that's the way he started every single season. It's the same way when we're mixing. If we are able to focus on 90% of our mix, essentially focus on the volume balance first and disproportionate amount of effort inside of that one thing, we're going to end up with way more professional results. The first time I did this, I mixed a song and I spent so much time on the volume balance. And I really made sure that that was dialed in first before I ever continued. I showed that mix to my wife and she listened to it for about 30 seconds and then turned over to me and she said, "Babe, that actually sounds like a real song." Obviously, nothing I had done prior to that point sounded like a real song because that one fundamental issue, the volume balance, wasn't actually taken care of. The lesson that we can take away from this is the average listener cannot get past certain levels of mixing quality before they're basically stopped and they can't listen to anything else. So if we assume that my definition of mixing is correct, that the mix is essentially meant to display the song in the best way possible without getting in the way, then your volume balance is the first defense that you have to get through. You have to make sure that you have a professional volume balance. It's nailed in, and then they will be able to listen to the sonic balance. If they are able to get past that, then they listen to the dynamic balance to make sure it still sounds like a real song. You know, it has movement and it has feeling, and then they listen to the effects. The effects are the very last thing that an average person will listen to. Probably don't know that, but inherently, if your volume balance is messed up and your panning is weird, then nobody's going to listen to anything else you do in your mix because that one fundamental flaw hamstrung your entire mix. How to fix 90% of your mix? It's spend a disproportionate amount of time on your volume balance itself. If you do this one thing, you are going to get way better, higher quality results with your mixes. If you want to learn my entire system of mixing songs, then I created the ultimate mixing checklist down below. It follows the exact workflow that I use every single time I mix a song. I actually pull up this checklist to mix songs in order to make sure that I'm always on track. I'm not randomly applying plugins all the way across the mix, and ultimately I end up with pro results every single time. So make sure you're picking up that ultimate mixing checklist down below. Completely free, completely for you, and thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.